9 ways how kindness will ruin your life. Stoicism, modern Stoicism. No man is free who is not master of himself. These powerful words from Epictetus remind us that true freedom comes from within, yet how often do we sacrifice that freedom in the name of kindness? Kindness is celebrated as one of humanity's highest virtues. It builds bridges, fosters connection, and adds meaning to our lives. But what if this seemingly noble trait has a hidden side? What if kindness, when practiced without boundaries, becomes the very thing that erodes your autonomy, disrupts your inner peace, and leaves you vulnerable to exploitation? Welcome to Stoic Secrets, where we uncover how modern Stoicism can shine a light on the paradox of kindness, showing us when it uplifts and when it harms. Together, we'll explore 9 ways unchecked kindness might quietly ruin your life, and what the Stoics teach us about balancing compassion with self-respect. Are you truly in control of your kindness, or has it begun to control you? Let's dive into this surprising and thought-provoking journey. Number 1. Makes you constantly strive to meet others' expectations. The desire to please others is deeply ingrained in human nature, rooted in our need for connection and acceptance. While seeking approval or wanting to be seen as helpful is natural, kindness that comes at the expense of our own values and needs can cause harm. It shifts from being a virtue to becoming a mechanism for external validation, leading to a loss of personal identity and autonomy. In modern Stoicism, one of the key principles is living in alignment with one's own values, which is essential for maintaining inner peace and resilience. The Stoics remind us that true worth is not measured by the opinions of others, but by our adherence to reason and virtue. Marcus Aurelius expressed this clearly. "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This paradox highlights how often we let external judgment guide our actions, sacrificing our goals and values to meet the expectations of others. Over time, this constant pursuit of approval drains our energy, focus, and sense of fulfillment, leaving little room for self-reflection or growth. Instead of living authentically, we risk becoming performers in someone else's narrative, endlessly chasing shifting standards of acceptance. The cycle of people-pleasing often results in frustration and burnout. The demands and expectations of others are constantly changing. What satisfies one person may disappoint another. Imagine constantly agreeing to requests for help, sacrificing your time and well-being, only to find your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated. Far from bringing fulfillment, this path can lead to resentment, where even acts of goodwill become burdens. True kindness, as the Stoics teach, must come from a place of balance and self-respect. Seneca offers valuable insight. You must live for yourself, but in a way that benefits others. This reminds us that compassion and generosity can coexist with boundaries and self-care. Practicing kindness with wisdom means anchoring our actions to our values rather than external expectations. By doing so, our kindness becomes genuine and sustainable, allowing us to give without depleting ourselves. In today's world, where societal pressures and social media amplify the need for validation, this Stoic wisdom is more relevant than ever. The curated perfection we see online can make us feel inadequate, pushing us to strive for unattainable approval. To break free, we must practice self-care and reclaim our autonomy. Setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, and prioritizing our well-being are not selfish acts. They are essential for living authentically. Living authentically means freeing ourselves from the need to please others and focusing on a life aligned with our principles. The Stoics teach that true kindness is not about self-sacrifice, but about sharing from a place of abundance, ensuring our actions nurture both others and ourselves. Number 2. You to lose yourself. When kindness is given without boundaries, it can quietly lead you to lose touch with who you are and what truly matters to you. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to requests so often that you start to feel like you're disappearing? It happens when we prioritize the needs of others so much that we forget our own desires, dreams, and well-being. Stoicism, with its focus on self-awareness and emotional regulation, offers us a powerful way to navigate this. The Stoics teach that while kindness is virtuous, it should never come at the expense of your inner balance and clarity. If we stretch ourselves too thin in the name of helping others, we risk feeling hollow, like we're living not for ourselves, but for the expectations others place on us. Over time, this can drain us of joy and fulfillment, leaving us a shadow of who we once were. Let me tell you a modern story to bring this idea to life. Imagine Sarah, a high-achieving professional and everyone's go-to person. Need help? Sarah's there. She picks up extra work for her colleagues, cancels her plans to console a friend, and stays late at the office to support her team. At first, it felt good to be so indispensable. After all, helping others is noble, right? But as the months went on, Sarah began feeling exhausted and empty. Her own dreams of starting a side business were shelved, her gym membership went unused, and she couldn't remember the last time she had said no to someone. When a friend gently pointed this out, Sarah dismissed it. "I'm just being kind," she thought. But deep down, she knew something was wrong. She felt disconnected from herself, like her life was no longer her own. Sarah had let her kindness run unchecked, and in doing so, she'd lost sight of her true priorities. Stoicism reminds us that true kindness doesn't mean giving all of yourself away. It means giving wisely, with intention and balance. Have you ever paused to ask yourself if saying yes to someone else means saying no to yourself? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength includes knowing when to protect your time, energy, and peace of mind. Setting boundaries doesn't make you unkind. It makes your kindness sustainable. Without boundaries, kindness can become a burden rather than a joy. So how can you find the balance between kindness and self-preservation? Start by reflecting on your values and priorities. What truly matters to you? Then, consider whether your actions align with those priorities. If you constantly compromise your own well-being to meet the needs of others, you're not just neglecting yourself, you're also depriving the world of your best self. Ask yourself, am I giving from a place of abundance, or am I depleting myself to please others? The Stoic secrets of self-awareness and moderation teach us that when we stay true to ourselves, we can help others without losing our way. Remember, kindness is a gift, but it's one you can only give when your own well is full. By practicing self-awareness, setting boundaries, and aligning your actions with your values, you can offer your kindness in a way that enriches both your life and the lives of those around you. What would change if you approached kindness with balance and intention? How might your life and your relationships transform if you made room for yourself while still helping others? Perhaps, like Sarah, you'll discover that true fulfillment comes not from losing yourself in kindness, but from finding a way to give without losing who you are. Number 3. Disappointment. When you don't receive anything in return. Kindness seems simple, but it often hides a complicated truth: the disappointment that comes when you expect something in return. One of the biggest traps of kindness is the quiet expectation of reciprocity. It's natural to hope our actions will be noticed or appreciated, but when they aren't, disappointment can turn into frustration or resentment. Marcus Aurelius captures this perfectly in Meditations. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." This isn't about bitterness, but accepting that you control your actions, not others' responses. Modern Stoicism emphasizes this lesson. Tying your happiness to others' behavior is a dangerous game. Think about it. Have you ever gone out of your way for someone only to be met with silence or indifference? It stings because expectations create a fragile link between your kindness and their response. Epictetus advises, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." Focusing on the act of kindness itself, not the outcome, brings freedom and calm. This isn't about ignoring your feelings, but shifting your perspective. True kindness isn't transactional. It's about aligning with your principles. Ask yourself, if no one acknowledged your generosity, would you still act kindly? This reflection challenges you to examine if your kindness is genuine or conditional. Kindness with expectations can erode peace of mind. Imagine covering a co-worker's shift or helping a neighbor only to receive indifference. The disappointment can make you question your effort. Stoicism provides a solution. Instead of dwelling on what you didn't receive, focus on your intention and values. Seneca said, "The wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." Let this perspective guide you when your kindness feels unappreciated. Modern Stoicism offers practical wisdom. Act kindly not for recognition, but because it's part of who you strive to be. Reflect on a time you felt disappointed by someone's response. How did it affect you? Now, imagine approaching the same situation without expectations. Would it feel lighter or more fulfilling? Expectations weigh us down. Letting go frees us from frustration and turns kindness into joy. It's not easy, but with practice, you'll find satisfaction in staying true to your principles. The next time you're kind, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this because it's right or because I expect something in return? If it's the latter, challenge yourself to let go of that expectation. In doing so, you'll discover the liberating power of true kindness. That's the essence of modern Stoicism and a lesson worth embracing. Number 4, you're indecisive and passive. Excessive kindness, though often celebrated as a virtue, can sometimes lead to indecisiveness and passivity, particularly when it pushes you to prioritize others' needs over your own. While kindness stems from goodwill, unchecked kindness may dilute your ability to make tough decisions or assert your own values. This inclination to avoid conflict or deny others' requests out of fear of upsetting them can make you feel powerless in steering your own life. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Time lost to indecision and the constant need to appease others can detract from our ability to live intentionally. Stoicism underscores the importance of rational decision-making and purposeful action. Without these, you risk becoming a mere passenger in your life, driven by the currents of external demands rather than your own deliberate choices. A life overly focused on kindness can often blur the lines between compassion and self-neglect, making you a slave to others' expectations. This imbalance leads to emotional exhaustion and prevents you from achieving your goals, as your energies are dispersed in directions that do not serve your greater purpose. The Stoic secret lies in mastering emotional self-regulation and recognizing that setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a necessity for preserving your inner tranquility. Consider this in modern life. Perhaps a colleague frequently relies on you to take on tasks they should be handling themselves. Out of kindness, you keep agreeing, telling yourself that helping is the right thing to do. However, over time, you notice your workload piling up, your own responsibilities suffering, and your resentment growing. The solution, as Stoicism teaches, is to act from reason, not impulse. Pause and reflect. Does this behavior align with your values? Is your assistance enabling growth for both you and the other person, or does it undermine your shared progress? Saying no when necessary can restore balance, allowing you to allocate your energy toward what truly matters. The antidote to passivity and indecision is cultivating clarity of purpose. Marcus Aurelius advises in Meditations, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This succinct reminder emphasizes aligning actions with reasoned judgment rather than fleeting emotional impulses. By adopting this mindset, you can navigate your relationships and responsibilities without compromising your autonomy. The Stoic secret to thriving is to remain kind but firm, offering compassion without surrendering control over your life. In doing so, you reclaim your ability to take decisive actions that lead to a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. Number 5. You are an easy target for exploitation. Kindness is undeniably one of the most admirable human traits, yet when it is given without boundaries, it can transform into a vulnerability, leaving you open to exploitation. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on maintaining control over emotions and decisions, serves as a vital guide in protecting your autonomy. Seneca captured this idea beautifully, stating, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." This reminds us that true generosity is purposeful and mindful, not a mindless surrender to the demands of others. Without limits, kindness can be perceived as a resource rather than an act of goodwill, inviting situations where people take advantage of your generosity without reciprocation. Over time, such imbalances create feelings of frustration and resentment, as your efforts are undervalued and your good intentions are exploited for personal gain rather than fostering meaningful reciprocal relationships. Modern Stoicism offers an essential insight into this dynamic. True generosity stems from a place of inner abundance. It is only when we give from a space of emotional strength and self-respect that our kindness retains its authenticity and value. Practicing self-awareness and emotional self-control enables us to recognize when our kindness is being misused and to set boundaries accordingly. Far from being selfish, establishing boundaries is an act of self-respect that ensures your actions are deliberate and purposeful. Consider, for example, a friend who constantly asks for your help, yet never acknowledges your efforts or reciprocates. This one-sided dynamic doesn't just drain your energy, it diminishes the meaning and value of your generosity, leaving you feeling emotionally depleted and undervalued. In today's interconnected and fast-paced world, this problem is even more pronounced. With the rise of social media and constant communication, requests for your time, energy, and resources can seem never-ending. Learning to say no gracefully is an indispensable skill in such a landscape. It allows you to safeguard your energy while maintaining healthy and balanced relationships. As the Stoics remind us, we cannot give what we do not have. Protecting your mental and emotional reserves ensures that your kindness remains a source of strength and positivity, rather than a drain on your well-being. When you set clear boundaries, you empower yourself to give without sacrificing your peace of mind. Your acts of kindness become more intentional and impactful, benefiting both you and those you choose to help. This balanced approach not only shields you from exploitation, but also fosters deeper, more meaningful connections with people who genuinely value and respect your generosity. By anchoring your actions in self-awareness and reason, you transform kindness into a powerful and sustainable force for good in your life and the lives of others. If you've ever found yourself caught in indecision or passivity because of excessive kindness, comment, "I reclaim my power," below. Your insights and experiences are invaluable in building a community that thrives on clarity, balance, and intentional action. Let's inspire one another to practice kindness without compromising our autonomy. Number 6. Kindness traps. You in an endless race. Have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill that never stops, endlessly giving to others while your own goals and dreams drift further away? This is the hidden danger of excessive kindness. While helping others is noble, Stoicism reminds us of the importance of intentional living, aligning our actions with our values and focusing on what truly matters. When kindness becomes an unchecked habit, it can trap you in a cycle of constant giving, leaving little time or energy for your own growth. You may think you're doing the right thing, but over time, this self-sacrificial behavior can lead to burnout, frustration, and a creeping sense of resentment. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, urged us to live with purpose, reminding us that our time and energy are finite resources. When we stretch ourselves too thin in the service of others, we risk neglecting the very things that give our lives meaning: our goals, our passions, and our inner development. Let me illustrate this with a modern story. Meet Daniel, a devoted friend and colleague who has a heart of gold. Whenever someone needs help, Daniel is the first to step up, whether it's covering shifts at work, helping a neighbor move, or mentoring a struggling friend. At first, he finds fulfillment in being the reliable one, but soon, his days become a blur of favors and commitments. The gym sessions he once loved are forgotten. His dream of writing a novel remains untouched, and his weekends are swallowed by obligations. One night, as he collapses into bed exhausted, Daniel realizes he can't remember the last time he did something for himself. He feels trapped, not by others, but by his own inability to set boundaries. His kindness, once a source of pride, has turned into a cage. Stoicism offers us the key to unlock this cage: balance and self-awareness. The Stoic secrets to a fulfilling life lie in understanding that true kindness should never come at the expense of your own well-being. Are you giving because you genuinely want to, or because you feel obligated to please everyone around you? If your acts of kindness are driven by guilt or fear of disappointing others, you're not truly free. You're a prisoner of expectations. By learning to prioritize your time and energy, you create space for personal growth and deeper fulfillment. So how can you escape the endless race of kindness? Start by setting clear boundaries and asking yourself if each commitment aligns with your values and goals. Remember, saying no doesn't make you unkind. It allows you to say yes to what truly matters. Reflect on your own life. Are you sacrificing your dreams to meet the endless demands of others? How would your life change if you gave yourself permission to focus on your own growth? When you approach kindness with intention and balance, you not only preserve your energy, but also make your contributions more meaningful. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that we must live purposefully, valuing both our time and ourselves. By practicing self-awareness and learning to say no when necessary, you can avoid the trap of endless giving and reclaim your freedom. Ultimately, kindness is most powerful when it comes from a place of abundance rather than exhaustion. What steps will you take today to ensure your kindness uplifts others without diminishing yourself? Number 7. The conflict between kindness and modern life reality. Let's dive into a truth that's both uncomfortable and illuminating: the conflict between kindness and the realities of modern life. In today's fast-paced world, kindness can often feel like a double-edged sword. While we might genuinely want to help others, our good intentions sometimes collide with a society that often values self-interest and exploitation over genuine connection. Have you ever extended kindness only to realize later that someone used your goodwill for their gain? If so, you're not alone, and Stoicism offers valuable insight into how to navigate this delicate balance. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea encourages us to focus on our intentions rather than how others may respond. In the context of modern Stoicism, practicing kindness requires a sharp sense of discernment. This doesn't mean withholding generosity, but being aware of where, why, and how you extend it. If kindness becomes blind or unchecked, it can lead to feelings of disillusionment or even emotional distress when others exploit your actions. Picture this. You spend your time and resources helping a colleague, thinking you're building goodwill, only to discover they were leveraging your efforts for their personal gain. How did that make you feel? Likely, it left a sour taste, and perhaps even questioned the value of your kindness. Epictetus wisely observed, "He who is not a slave to the external has his soul truly free." In other words, true freedom comes from not allowing external forces, like the reactions of others, to dictate your inner peace. This isn't to say you should abandon kindness or harden your heart against the world. Instead, the Stoic approach teaches us to practice kindness with self-control and awareness. Ask yourself, is my kindness aligned with my values, or am I acting out of guilt, obligation, or the hope of earning someone's approval? These are tough but necessary questions that help you avoid situations where your goodwill might be manipulated. By taking the time to reflect on your intentions, you can ensure your kindness empowers you rather than leaves you feeling depleted. Modern life is full of contradictions, and kindness isn't immune to them. On one hand, we want to help others. On the other, we're confronted with the harsh reality that not everyone shares the same moral compass. That's why Stoicism encourages us to temper our actions with wisdom. Seneca beautifully put it, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This speaks to the importance of surrounding yourself with people who value and respect your kindness rather than exploit it. So, what does this look like in practice? It means being generous without naivety, kind without losing your sense of self, and discerning without growing cynical. Consider a time when you offered help to someone, only to realize they were taking advantage of your good nature. Reflect on how you felt and how you might approach similar situations differently in the future. Could you have set clearer boundaries? Or perhaps acted with less attachment to the outcome? Kindness that flows from self-awareness is more sustainable and less likely to lead to burnout or bitterness. Modern Stoicism reminds us that true kindness isn't about being a martyr for others or expecting the world to reciprocate. It's about staying true to your values and exercising your power of choice with clarity and intention. The next time you feel torn between helping someone and protecting your peace, pause and ask yourself, is this kindness coming from a place of strength, or am I being swayed by external pressures? When you root your actions in principles rather than societal expectations, your kindness becomes a source of empowerment, not a vulnerability. That's the beauty of Stoicism in our modern world. It helps us navigate life's complexities with both compassion and wisdom. Let this guide your journey, as you strive to balance kindness with the realities of the world around you. Number 8. The loss of personal freedom. When kindness becomes boundless and unchecked, it can quietly encroach on your personal freedom, leaving you feeling trapped by the demands and expectations of others. In Stoicism, one of the highest virtues is autonomy, the ability to live according to your values and reason, free from the sway of external pressures. However, when we allow kindness to overshadow our own needs, we risk sacrificing the freedom to pursue our goals and aspirations. This imbalance occurs when the desire to help others overrides our responsibility to maintain control over our own lives, and over time, this erodes our sense of self-reliance and autonomy. Modern life offers countless examples of how excessive kindness can chip away at freedom. Perhaps you've found yourself in a position where a friend or family member constantly leans on you for support, and you feel unable to set boundaries. Initially, it feels noble to offer help, but as the requests pile up, you notice your own priorities slipping through the cracks. You may feel drained, resentful, and even trapped by obligations you never consciously agreed to take on. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes a guiding light. Stoic principles teach us to practice self-control and emotional regulation, enabling us to balance kindness with personal boundaries. By doing so, we reclaim the ability to make deliberate choices that serve both our values and our well-being, rather than being dictated by others' needs. To preserve your personal freedom, Stoicism advises a life led by reason rather than emotional compulsion. To be truly kind to others, you must first honor your own needs and aspirations. Consider the metaphor of a cup. You cannot pour into others if your own cup is empty. Protecting your freedom allows you to serve others more effectively, as you are acting from a place of strength and intention, not exhaustion or resentment. To put this into practice, reflect on where your time and energy are being spent. Are these actions aligned with your values, or are they driven by a sense of obligation? For instance, if a colleague constantly relies on you to complete their work, ask yourself if continuing to do so helps either of you grow. By setting clear limits and prioritizing your goals, you can maintain both kindness and freedom. The Stoic secret here is understanding that boundaries are not walls. They are bridges that connect genuine compassion with personal autonomy. By embodying this balance, you cultivate a life of intentional action, allowing your kindness to shine without compromising your independence. You've come this far because you're dedicated to living a life of purpose and personal freedom. Let's take it a step further. Comment below with the words, kindness with boundaries, freedom within. By doing so, you're affirming your commitment to the wisdom of balanced kindness and autonomy. Join the conversation and stay connected. Greater insights and powerful lessons are on the way. Number 9. Distraction from your life's purpose. Excessive kindness, though well-intentioned, can divert us from our true life's purpose as we become entangled in the endless needs and challenges of others. While kindness is a virtue, Stoicism reminds us that a life driven by reason and purpose requires focus on our own goals and personal growth. When we overextend ourselves for others, we risk losing clarity about our own ambitions, values, and larger life objectives. While it is noble to help others, doing so at the expense of our own journey can lead to a sense of unfulfillment and a lack of direction. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true balance lies in practicing kindness with discernment, ensuring that our generosity supports others without undermining our ability to pursue what truly matters in our lives. In a world brimming with distractions, it's easy to confuse constant helpfulness with living a meaningful life. However, allocating too much of our time and energy to others' problems often results in neglecting our own aspirations and personal growth. For instance, if you spend most of your time addressing other people's challenges, helping colleagues with tasks they should handle themselves, or always being the friend who fixes everything, you might inadvertently lose sight of your own career, dreams, or passions. This misdirection of focus not only diminishes your progress, but also leaves you feeling unfulfilled as your life becomes a reaction to others' needs, rather than an intentional pursuit of your own goals. Stoicism encourages us to realign our priorities by staying grounded in what truly matters. Helping others is not inherently wrong, but it should come from a place of strength, not sacrifice. Seneca emphasized, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you," reminding us to choose relationships and actions that uplift and align with our personal growth. In today's modern world, where the demand for attention is amplified by digital connectivity, it becomes even more important to protect your focus and ensure your kindness is balanced with self-care and purpose-driven living. By cultivating discernment in how you allocate your time, you can ensure that your efforts to help others do not come at the cost of your own journey. Establishing clear boundaries, prioritizing your goals, and reflecting on your values are essential practices to maintain alignment with your purpose. When you strike this balance, your kindness becomes a strength that enriches your life and the lives of others without derailing your own path. This way, instead of kindness distracting you, it complements your journey, allowing you to pursue fulfillment while contributing meaningfully to the world around you. Kindness, when taken to the extreme, can unknowingly lead to a life filled with disappointment, exploitation, and a loss of personal direction. Understanding these hidden consequences is crucial for anyone seeking to balance kindness with self-respect and purpose. By recognizing these pitfalls, you can take the first step towards redefining your approach to kindness and aligning it with a life of meaning and personal fulfillment. How to apply Stoicism to kindness without ruining your life. Now that we've uncovered how unchecked kindness can disrupt your life, it's time to shift our focus to solutions. Stoicism offers powerful tools to help you practice kindness without losing yourself. By embracing its principles, you can balance kindness with strength, creating a life that remains true to your purpose and values. Let's explore how Stoicism can guide you to transform kindness into a strength rather than a burden. Number 1. Differentiate genuine and manipulative kindness. Kindness is one of the most beautiful qualities we can bring to our relationships, but it's vital to recognize when kindness is genuine and when it's a tool for manipulation. Have you ever felt that someone's kindness came with strings attached? Stoicism teaches us to practice discernment, ensuring that our actions and the actions of others are guided by virtue and integrity rather than hidden agendas. Genuine kindness flows freely, expecting nothing in return, while manipulative kindness is often transactional, used to gain control or exploit. It's easy to get caught in this web if we don't pay attention. Stoic wisdom reminds us to align our kindness with our values and to stay vigilant about the intentions behind both our own actions and those of others. Let's consider a modern example to explore this idea. Picture Emma, a hard-working student who values helping her friends. One day, a classmate, Alex, starts asking for favors, borrowing her notes, asking for help with assignments, even expecting her to remind him of deadlines. Emma gladly agrees, thinking she's just being kind. Over time, though, she notices a pattern. Alex only reaches out when he needs something and disappears otherwise. When she gently confronts him, he brushes it off with a casual, "You're just so dependable, Emma." It's then that Emma realizes Alex's kindness toward her, compliments, small gestures, wasn't genuine, but a way to secure her assistance. Emma feels hurt and used, but Stoicism offers her a path forward. By recognizing this manipulative dynamic, she can set boundaries, reclaim her self-respect, and ensure her future kindness is reserved for those who truly value it. Stoic secrets emphasize the importance of maintaining emotional control and setting boundaries to protect yourself from being exploited. Epictetus advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This is a call to stay grounded in your values and act with integrity, even when faced with manipulation. When someone asks for your help, take a moment to reflect. Does this person genuinely need your support, or are they taking advantage of your goodwill? It's not unkind to say no when you sense their intentions are less than virtuous. On the contrary, saying no preserves your energy and ensures your kindness remains a gift, not a resource to be drained. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to say no without guilt? The Stoics believed that courage is as essential as kindness. When you recognize manipulative behavior and refuse to enable it, you're practicing courage and self-respect, two pillars of a well-lived life. This doesn't mean you should become distrustful of others, but rather that you should strive for balance. Genuine kindness requires you to protect yourself first, ensuring that your actions align with your values rather than external pressures. Ask yourself, how often do you pause to evaluate the motives behind others' requests? What would change in your life if you made discerning, intentional choices about when and how to give? At the heart of this lesson is a simple truth. Kindness, when rooted in virtue, uplifts both the giver and the receiver. By practicing discernment and staying mindful of others' intentions, you can avoid being exploited while preserving your ability to give freely and generously. Remember, true kindness doesn't come from guilt or obligation. It comes from a place of strength, courage, and integrity. How can you use this insight to ensure that your kindness reflects the best of who you are? By embracing these Stoic principles, you can navigate relationships with wisdom and clarity, offering kindness without compromising your self-respect. Number 2. Help without losing yourself. Let's explore a truth that often goes unnoticed. Kindness is a beautiful virtue, but without mindful practice, it can lead to losing yourself. Stoicism teaches us the importance of preserving our emotional and personal integrity while extending kindness to others. This principle remains as relevant today as ever, especially within modern Stoicism. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If your kindness leaves your needs unmet or drains your energy, it's no longer sustainable. Instead of fostering growth and connection, it risks frustration, burnout, and even resentment. Have you ever gone above and beyond for someone, only to feel physically and emotionally exhausted afterward? Did it leave you feeling fulfilled or questioning if you gave too much of yourself? Kindness doesn't mean neglecting yourself. It means giving intentionally in ways that align with your values and boundaries. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Imagine helping someone through a tough time, offering your time, energy, and emotional support. But in the process, you neglect your rest, hobbies, or personal goals. Over time, this imbalance can drain you and turn genuine kindness into regret or resentment. Reflecting on your capacity before helping ensures that your actions come from a place of strength, not sacrifice. When you prioritize your growth, happiness, and balance, your kindness becomes an act of abundance rather than depletion. Have you noticed how much more rewarding it feels to help someone when you're grounded and fulfilled? When you care for yourself first, You can bring authenticity and energy to your interactions. Seneca wisely said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Gratitude, both for yourself and others, thrives when kindness is practiced in harmony with your own well-being. Modern Stoicism offers a practical roadmap for balancing compassion with self-care. It's not about saying no without thought or turning inward at others' expense. It's about discerning when and how to act, ensuring your kindness stems from principles rather than guilt or obligation. Ask yourself, have there been times when helping others overshadowed your own needs? What would have changed if you had paused to evaluate your capacity? These reflections empower you to recalibrate and ensure future acts of kindness remain sustainable. Kindness, when rooted in awareness, is a gift to everyone involved. It becomes an intentional way of living that honors your needs while uplifting others. The next time you're stretched thin by the demands of others, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I helping in a way that respects my well-being as much as it supports theirs? If the answer is no, don't hesitate to adjust. Setting boundaries doesn't diminish your kindness. It ensures it stays authentic, impactful, and aligned with your values. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, balancing compassion with wisdom so you can give without losing yourself. It's more than a practice, it's a philosophy for life. Number 3, give kindness without expectation. One of Stoicism's most powerful teachings is to act without attachment to outcomes, especially in kindness. This idea frees us from the emotional distress that often comes when our good deeds go unnoticed or unreciprocated. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "If you do good, do it because it is good, not because it will be praised." True kindness is rooted in the joy of giving itself, not in validation or reward. By letting go of expectations, our actions become a genuine reflection of our character, untainted by self-interest. In today's transactional world, giving without expecting something in return can feel unnatural. Many of us unconsciously expect acknowledgement or reciprocity when we extend kindness. For example, you might help a friend and feel slighted when they don't express gratitude or return the favor. These hidden expectations act as invisible contracts that, when unfulfilled, lead to disappointment or resentment. Stoicism offers a liberating truth. You cannot control others' responses, only your intentions and actions. By practicing kindness for its own sake, you avoid the emotional toll of unmet expectations and find peace in your virtue. Imagine helping a stranger with no thought of repayment. This simple act of generosity fosters inner tranquility. This is one of the Stoic secrets to contentment. Acting virtuously for its own sake keeps your mind free from resentment, regardless of others' reactions. By letting go of reciprocity, your kindness becomes more authentic, fostering trust and deeper connections. It also reinforces that your worth lies not in external recognition, but in the integrity of your choices. Kindness without expectation is not just generosity, it's self-mastery. It encourages you to focus on what you can control, your actions and intentions, while releasing yourself from outcomes beyond your influence. This aligns with Stoicism's core teaching to accept life's flow with equanimity, cultivating freedom and empowerment. When you prioritize giving over recognition, you preserve emotional energy for what truly matters, avoiding unnecessary disappointment. To live a life of peace and purpose, reflect on your motives when extending kindness. Do they align with values like generosity and integrity? Giving freely transforms kindness into a source of fulfillment, enriching your life and the lives of others. By embracing this timeless Stoic wisdom, you'll uncover the freedom and joy that comes from simply doing good, unburdened by the need for anything in return. Thank you for being here with us today. Before we dive into the next part of our journey, I want to take a moment to express how much I value your presence. Have you ever experienced the peace that comes from giving kindness without expecting anything in return? Or perhaps you've felt the sting of unmet expectations when your efforts weren't acknowledged. Your perspective matters. Share your thoughts in the comments below. To make it easier, here's a slogan you can use. Kindness is its own reward. Simply drop it in the comments or share how you navigate moments when kindness isn't reciprocated. These small acts of engagement mean more than you might realize. They inspire us to keep creating content that speaks to you. Now, let's move on to the next truth. Number 4, make kindness part of your larger life goal. In the framework of modern Stoicism, kindness holds its rightful place as a profound virtue, yet it is not the end goal. Rather, it is an essential element woven into the broader fabric of a life guided by reason, purpose, and personal development. Practiced with intention, kindness becomes a tool for cultivating meaning and connection. Yet when allowed to overshadow one's primary goals, it risks diverting us from our true path. As Marcus Aurelius so aptly stated, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This wisdom encourages us to embody kindness as an active part of our character, while ensuring it aligns with and supports our larger aspirations rather than compromising them. A life devoted entirely to kindness without the anchoring principles of reason and purpose can inadvertently lead to a loss of self-direction. For example, someone who is deeply committed to improving their community might dedicate countless hours to volunteer work. While admirable, if this effort consumes the time and energy needed to build a career in urban planning, a role that could enact long-term systemic change, it ultimately limits the individual's capacity to create lasting impact. Kindness, while inherently valuable, must be channeled strategically to contribute to one's greater life mission. Without this alignment, it risks becoming a distraction rather than a force for growth. In our modern world, the challenge of balancing kindness with personal aspirations is more relevant than ever. The fast pace of life, coupled with increasing demands on our time, often leaves us stretched thin. Acts of kindness, such as helping a colleague with a project or supporting a friend in need, are vital to nurturing relationships and community. Yet, if such acts are performed indiscriminately or at the expense of personal goals, like developing a new skill, advancing in one's career, or prioritizing mental well-being, they can lead to burnout and resentment. Seneca reminds us, "You must live for others if you wish to live for yourself," a call to balance the needs of others with your own pursuit of excellence and purpose. Stoicism teaches us to live according to nature, a concept that emphasizes harmony between our inner virtues and the external world. Kindness, when practiced as a reflection of our highest values, enriches our lives and those of others without diminishing our individual potential. This principle encourages us to view kindness not as a standalone virtue, but as a complement to the broader goals we pursue. When each act of kindness is undertaken with mindfulness and aligned with our purpose, it enhances both our character and the world around us. The key lies in discernment. Before extending a helping hand, take a moment to reflect. Does this act support my long-term vision? Does it align with the person I am striving to become? Kindness that emerges from clarity of purpose does not feel burdensome or forced. It feels empowering. It is not a detour from your path, but a bridge that strengthens it. By making kindness a deliberate and integrated part of your life, you uphold the Stoic ideals of rationality and virtue, while fostering meaningful connections in the world. As you move forward, consider how kindness fits into the larger narrative of your life. Are your acts of generosity reinforcing your journey toward fulfillment and self-mastery? When you align kindness with your values and goals, you ensure it supports rather than derails your progress. In doing so, you embody the wisdom of the Stoics, navigating life with balance, intention, and grace, even amidst the distractions and complexities of the modern world. Number 5. Learn to say no. Kindly. Picture this. Your calendar is overflowing with commitments. Your phone buzzes constantly with new requests, and every time someone asks for a favor, you instinctively respond with yes, even though deep down, you're already running on empty. How many times have you said yes out of obligation, guilt, or fear of disappointing someone, even when your heart was screaming no? These moments of overcommitting may seem small, but over time they chip away at your boundaries and leave you feeling drained, unfulfilled, and even resentful. Learning to say no kindly is more than a simple refusal. It's a powerful act of self-respect and reclaiming control over your time, energy, and peace of mind. As Stoic secrets reveal, true kindness isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about staying aligned with your values and priorities while maintaining your integrity. Think about Emma, a hard-working professional with a strong desire to be helpful. She often found herself saying yes to requests from colleagues, friends, and family, even when it meant sacrificing her personal time and well-being. One day, a colleague approached her with a time-consuming project. Emma's initial reaction was to agree, worried she might seem unkind or uncooperative if she refused. But this time, she paused and thought about her workload, her commitments, and the quality of her work if she took on too much. With a calm and thoughtful approach, Emma replied, "I truly appreciate you considering me for this, but I need to focus on my current responsibilities to deliver my best. Maybe someone else can assist you with this." Her kind but firm response not only preserved her mental peace, but also allowed her to excel in her existing tasks. This thoughtful no wasn't just about turning down a project. It was about protecting her ability to succeed and showing respect for her own limits. Why is it so hard to say no? For many, the answer lies in a mix of guilt, fear of disappointing others, or a sense of obligation to prove their worth. But Stoicism teaches us to look deeper. Are we saying yes to earn approval, or are we acting in alignment with our core values? A kind no doesn't reject kindness, it redefines it. When you decline a request that conflicts with your well-being or goals, you're practicing self-control, a key tenet of Stoicism, and ensuring you have the capacity to give meaningfully when it truly matters. Saying no kindly is also an act of redirection. It guides both you and the requester toward more intentional choices. Consider how much more effective and fulfilled you could be if you focused your energy on what aligns with your priorities instead of spreading yourself too thin. How can you offer genuine support to others if you are constantly running on empty? As Stoic wisdom suggests, you must care for yourself first before you can effectively care for others. A kind no is a way of acknowledging your limitations while still respecting the needs of others. When you start practicing the art of a thoughtful no, you'll likely notice a shift in your relationships. People who value and respect you will appreciate your honesty, and you'll feel empowered by the clarity and peace that come with setting boundaries. The delivery is key. A warm tone, a genuine thank you, and a clear explanation can turn what might seem like rejection into a moment of understanding and mutual respect. For example, saying, "I'm honored you thought of me, but I need to decline so I can focus on my other commitments," conveys both gratitude and firmness, embodying the essence of Stoic secrets, balancing composure, integrity, and self-respect. Learning to say no kindly is about embracing balance in your life. You are not required to please everyone or meet every demand placed on you. By honoring your own needs and limits, you strengthen your ability to serve others with authenticity and purpose. Remember, kindness and self-respect are not opposing forces, they work hand in hand. Each time you say no with intention and grace, you are reaffirming your commitment to what matters most in your life. So, the next time you feel the pressure to say yes when it conflicts with your values, pause and ask yourself, what truly aligns with my priorities? The answer may surprise you, and it might just set you free. Number 6. Develop kindness with self-control. Imagine a life where your kindness uplifts others but never drains you. This is the Stoic ideal of self-controlled generosity. Kindness, when balanced with self-control, is not just a virtue, it is a form of wisdom. The Stoics remind us that our emotions and actions must align with reason to maintain harmony within ourselves and in our interactions with others. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Being kind is part of being good, but being good also requires knowing your limits. When we practice kindness with self-control, we ensure that our compassion doesn't spiral into self-sacrifice at the expense of our mental or emotional health. Have you ever felt utterly exhausted after helping someone? That is a sign of imbalance. While it's noble to support a struggling friend or help a colleague in need, Stoicism teaches us to be intentional with our generosity. By being mindful of how much we give, we avoid overcommitting ourselves and retain the energy to continue being kind in the future. Modern Stoicism emphasizes the importance of this principle because we live in a time of constant demands. Social media, work, family, and even societal expectations can pressure us into endless acts of kindness, often leaving us feeling burned out. Yet the Stoics would advise us to pause and reflect. Is this act aligned with my values? Am I extending help thoughtfully, or am I acting out of obligation or guilt? True kindness, guided by self-control, is never hasty or forced. It flows from a place of abundance, not depletion. This balance allows you to show up fully for others while remaining rooted in your well-being and personal goals. Imagine saying yes only when your heart aligns with your capacity. How much lighter would your life feel? Seneca, another great Stoic, observed, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." This reminds us that overextending ourselves spreads us too thin, leaving us ineffective and emotionally depleted. A kind heart needs care too. When we give thoughtfully, we create room for deeper and more meaningful connections, instead of shallow gestures born from a sense of duty. Consider this. When was the last time you helped someone but later regretted it because it came at the expense of your own needs or values? Reflecting on such moments teaches us the importance of self-control in kindness. It is not selfish to set boundaries, it is wise. The Stoics believed that living virtuously required awareness, intention, and balance, qualities that make kindness a sustainable and transformative force in both your life and the lives of others. So how can you practice this in your daily life? Start by being honest with yourself. Before extending a helping hand, ask, do I have the time, energy, and resources to do this without compromising my own well-being? If the answer is no, consider alternative ways to support others, such as offering advice, encouragement, or a listening ear. Kindness is not measured by grand gestures, but by sincerity and mindfulness. Modern Stoicism reminds us that to live well, we must live with purpose. And that purpose includes knowing when to step forward and when to step back, allowing our kindness to be a beacon of strength rather than a source of exhaustion. By practicing kindness with self-control, you embody the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature, thriving within your limits while uplifting others. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, how do I balance kindness and self-control in my own life? Are my acts of generosity thoughtful, or do they sometimes stem from a place of guilt or external pressure? In navigating these questions, you will find clarity and a path to living more virtuously. Modern Stoicism invites you to explore this balance as a cornerstone of emotional stability and meaningful relationships. So, the next time you feel the urge to help, pause and ask, will this kindness serve both them and me? That small moment of reflection could transform not just your actions, but your life. As we've explored today, kindness is a beautiful and powerful virtue, but without boundaries, it can derail our lives by leaving us exploited, distracted, or disconnected from our true purpose. Stoicism teaches us the importance of acting with reason and balance, ensuring our kindness stems from strength, not sacrifice. By aligning with the principles of modern Stoicism, we can cultivate kindness that is genuine, empowering, and sustainable, while staying true to our goals and values. At Stoic Secrets, we're dedicated to uncovering the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can guide us in living more intentional and fulfilling lives. If you found value in today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And make sure to turn on notifications so you won't miss our next deep dive into Stoic secrets and practical insights for modern living. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.